Vanderbilt football has been known as the doorstep of the SEC for an extremely long time. They have never won an SEC championship, nor have they ever been in contention of winning one in the modern era of college football. They are a school that has only been to 9 bowl games in program history and have only won 4 of those games. They play in one of the toughest conferences in the nation, and it seems as soon as they get any sort of momentum, their coach bolts. But not Clark Lea, an alum of Vanderbilt, who looks to build something special down in Nashville. His goal, to make Vanderbilt football one of the toughest and best teams in college football. Will he be able to do it? Let's look back at the history of Vanderbilt football and discuss why Vanderbilt could be a special team in a few years. But before we get into it, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to release a video every day for the month of August. Also comment who you want me to cover in future videos and your record prediction for Vanderbilt this fall in the comments section below. Vanderbilt University began playing football in 1890 when they took on the University of Nashville, which was the first ever college football game played in the state of Tennessee. Vanderbilt would go on to win 40-0, led by their first head coach, Elliott H. Jones, who stayed in Nashville for a total of 3 years, finishing with a record of 8-5. In 1893, W.J. Keller took over as head coach, leading Vanderbilt to a 6-1 record. They were one of the founding members of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Association, aka the SIAA, in 1894, with Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and the University of South in Sewanee. Vanderbilt won their first SIAA conference championship in 1897, going 6-0-1, and held every opponent scoreless that season under R.G. Acton. They would win their second SIAA title in 1901 under W.H. Watkin, going 6-1-1 with their only loss coming to Washington, located in Missouri, 12-11. Those 12 points were the only points Vanderbilt let up all season. They went 8-1 the following year, but their only loss to Sewanee, 11-5, caused them to miss out on winning the title. In 1903, James H. Jimmy Henry led them to a 6-1-1 record and a share of the SIAA Conference Championship. Head coach Dan McGugan would take over the following year, coaching at Vanderbilt until 1934. They won the Billingsley National title in 1906 and 1911 and joined the Southern Conference in 1922. After a decade, they would join the Southeastern Conference, aka the SEC. Between 1890 and 1934, Vanderbilt went 278, 83, and 26 with 13 conference championships, 2 national titles, and 41 winning seasons. They were one of the top programs in the country. Since joining the SEC, though, the Commodores have not won any conference championships, and there is not a lot of information online about the history of the program. They would make it to their first bowl game in 1955, beating Auburn in the Gator Bowl. It would be another 19 years until they made it back under Steve Sloan, when they tied Texas Tech 6-6. In 1982, Vanderbilt lost to Air Force 36-28 in the Hall of Fame Classic, and it would be another 26 years until they played in a bowl game again against Boston College in the Music City Bowl, a game they would win, which was the first bowl win in 53 years. At the time, they were coached by head coach Bobby Johnson, who had taken over the Commodores program in 2002 after a 60-36 record at Furman from 1994 to 2001. During Johnson's last season at Furman, he led them to the Division I AA National Championship game, where they lost to Montana 13-6. In 2005, led by Jay Cutler, the Commodores finished 5-6, just missing out on a bowl game, and watched their star quarterback get drafted by the Denver Broncos 11th overall. In 2006, the Vanderbilt head coach position was ranked as one of the least attractive jobs in the SEC by 10 former SEC coaches. Former Ole Miss coach Billy Brewer told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, "The tough thing about the Vanderbilt job is that you can improve a lot from year to year and still finish last in the SEC East. For what he has, I think Bobby Johnson has done a heck of a coaching job." In 2007, they upset number 6 South Carolina, but a loss to rival Tennessee knocked them out of bowl contention. They started the previous mentioned 2008 season 5-0, even being ranked for the first time in gosh knows how many years. They even hosted College Game Day, and it was the first time they started 5-0 since World War II. They would proceed to drop 4 straight to Mississippi State, number 10 Georgia, Duke, and number 4 Florida before beating Kentucky on the road, but losing their last 2 games to Tennessee and Wake Forest. After a 2-10 season in 2009, July of 2010 saw Johnson shock the college football world when he decided to retire. He explained his decision saying, "Football is not life, but it's a way of life and it consumes your life. You only have so many years to live and you want to see a different way." He finished with a record of 29-66. Under interim head coach Robbie Caldwell, they finished 2-10. Caldwell was forced to resign following the season, and the Commodores chose to replace him with James Franklin, over the likes of Al Golden and Larry Coker after Gus Malzahn turned down the job. Franklin revived the Commodores program, finishing his first season as a Vanderbilt head coach with a 6-7 record, losing the Liberty Bowl to Cincinnati 31-24. The 2011 seniors for the Vanderbilt football team became the first class in program history to qualify for 2 bowl games while at the school. They only lost 2 games that season by more than 7 points, 21-3 against number 12 South Carolina and 34-0 to number 2 Alabama. They finished the 2012 season 9-4 and ranked in the AP and USA Today end of season polls top 25 for the first time since 1948. They were also ranked for the first time since 2008. It was only the third 9-win season in school history, also was the first time since 1935 that Vandy won 5 SEC games in a year, and the first in 30 years that they won a home game against Tennessee. The 2012 team had numerous milestones, the longest road winning streak with 4 since 1950. Longest win streak of 7 since 1948, most times scoring 40 points with 5 straight or more since 1915. Running back Zach Stacy became the first Commodore running back to rush for 3,000 yards in a career since 1951. It was the first 8-win season since 1982, first regular season record since '82, and the first time they made it to back-to-back bowl games in program history, this time beating NC State in the Music City Bowl 38-24. In 2013, Vanderbilt finished 9-4 for the second season in a row, making it the first time in program history they finished with back-to-back 9-win seasons. A minor controversy occurred when Vanderbilt canceled games at home with Northwestern and an away game with Ohio State. A letter was sent canceling the games, the explicit reason being the need to accommodate Missouri into the Vanderbilt SEC East division schedule, but Northwestern, like Vanderbilt in the SEC, the sole private institution in the Big Ten, alleged that the real reason was fear on the part of Vanderbilt to continue playing its Big Ten counterpart, a series which had been referred to as the Battle of the Nerds. They beat Houston the BBVA Compass Bowl 41-24 and finished the season in the top 25. Franklin would take the Penn State job after the season and was replaced by Derek Mason, who had been Stanford's defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. Mason's tenure at Vanderbilt was marked by some highs and lows, as he tried to build a competitive program in the SEC. After a 3-9 season in 2014 and a 4-8 season in 2015, Vanderbilt made it back to a bowl game in 2016, losing to NC State in the Independence Bowl 41-17 to finish 6-7. After a promising start to the 2017 season, the Commodores would lose 7 of their last 8 games to finish 5-7. They made it back to a bowl game in 2018, losing to Baylor in the Texas Bowl, finishing 6-7. After a 3-9 season in 2019 and an 0-9 season, Mason was fired after the 8th game. In 2020, the Commodores looked to former player and Notre Dame defensive coordinator Clark Lea to revive the program once again. Lea had played fullback at Vanderbilt from 2002 to 2004 under Johnson and looked to turn things around for his alma mater. Things did not go great his first season as head coach, with the Commodores finishing 2-10 and 0-8 in SEC play, but they showed improvement in 2022, going 5-7 and winning 2 SEC games. Their first win since 2019 and most wins since 2018 in conference play, and look to make it to a bowl game this season. Going into the 2022 season, Lea said Vanderbilt should be the best program in the country in the future, and he earned an extension after the 2022 season. Lea is quickly building something special at Vanderbilt and has the support of both Chancellor Daniel Diermeier and Athletic Director Candace Lee. They have hundreds of millions of dollars in facility improvements underway, like an upgraded football facility. Lea told The Athletic, "Before I was the Vanderbilt coach, I was a Vanderbilt player, a Vanderbilt fan. We've been screaming for this for 30 years. Here it is. Now we get to choose to set our attitude and see the joy in the progress and celebrated advancements. We know in a short order Vanderbilt football will be situated as a top 15 school playing in the best conference in the country, in the middle of the best city in the country, with first-class, best-in-class facilities." Lee, a former Vanderbilt athlete, is the first Vanderbilt athletic director in a while at Vanderbilt who isn't serving as a roadblock for the coaches, but instead is listening and helping. They have access to talent in the South, have modernized their approach to evaluating talent, and are holding on to players instead of watching them jump in the portal. Lea is an alum and someone who is not going anywhere. There is not a job he would take over the program he has been a fan of all his life, and he is an authentic coach. Vanderbilt is located in a city many college students dream of going to when they turn 21. They are a world-class university, they are members of the SEC, and have one of the best baseball programs in the nation, which shows they can win in sports. Vanderbilt has all the tools to become a consistent winning team, but will they? Only time will tell. But what do you think? Will Clark Lea be able to build Vanderbilt into a consistent winner? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more college football content like this, and check out one of my other videos right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.